can, as ever, use the microphone available and raise your hand if you've got a question. So who would like to go first? Go to Mike McGrath at the end here. Just use the mic, sorry, Mike.
Gareth, just, before the reaction to the drama at the end, just on John Stones, what was the injury itself? How is he, and whether beforehand it was at all a risk playing him in the 2 matches?
Well, no. The first game, we measure everything, and the first game for him wasn't a game that was a high level in terms of the intensity. We've done exactly what Holland did with Virgil van Dijk tonight, what Norway did with Erling Haaland and Odegaard, starting them again. Holland also started Aki again, so it only ever seems to fall on us when there's a question around that. Of course, we're disappointed if he's got a problem. It seems to be in the sort of adductor area, so yeah, we just have to see. I mean, John also came in on the back of not having played for 2 weeks, so it's not that it's an overload situation. But I hate sending players back to their clubs if they're not fully fit, of course.
Okay, next.
Just on the at the end as well, your emotions at those final seconds, and just in general, Jude. I mean, he had chances through the game as well, and he was a real creative force for you.
Yeah, I thought there were lots of good creative performances, really. I thought Jared Bowen had an excellent game. I thought Ivan was very, very good. I thought we managed to get Phil into the game the longer it went on. In the first half, the space for him on the left was blocked a bit. Actually, Jude was drifting out there, and there wasn't the space for Phil. But when we freed that up a bit after half-time, he managed to find that space and really had a good impact on the game. I thought James Maddison had a good impact when he came on. All of the changes, all the players that came on had a good impact. So, and obviously Cobby, from a creative aspect as well, gave us something completely different. So, yeah, Jude, of course, is the headline, and that competitive spirit, that desire not to lose, desire to win, in the end was decisive in getting the late goal. But I thought the whole team showed that throughout the game, and recovered from setbacks with a pretty inexperienced team, really, against a team that have got some very, very good players. So very pleased with a lot of what I saw tonight.
Gareth, there have been a handful of setbacks over the last couple of games, but there have also been some surprising players who've stepped up and who've nailed the colours to the mast. How many players do you feel of your available 30, 40, 50, 60 who you're considering at present, how many do you feel are ready for the challenge of winning the European Championships?
I'd have to sit and go through it all, because I'm a little bit lost as to who we've got and who we haven't, really. So the great thing is, definitely some players have emerged positively from the opportunities they've had, and so we've perhaps got more depth in one respect, but the injuries are a concern, and we've got so many players missing at the moment, and we've still got the real heat of the season to come. So the intensity of the games, what's resting on the games, we're not going to know what we're left with until the end. But we'll just have to make the best decisions that we possibly can.
Hi, Gareth. Do you feel after these 2 games that you're closer to knowing your 23? And can I just ask a question about Marcus Rashford? And obviously he didn't come on tonight. Was that just a tactical your choice, or is he injured? Or?
So in terms of knowing the 23, I suppose refer to the previous answer a little bit, in that there's so many unknowns at the moment in terms of who might be available. So yes, these performances were very important for players to be able to see whether or not they could play against high-level opposition. But equally, the way that they play between now and the end of the season with their club in big matches is going to have a high tariff for us as well. So we will track all of that. No, I wanted to see Anthony Gordon again. I thought he had an excellent impact on the first game, and I thought that Maddison coming into that area could open things up for us a bit.
Okay, any other questions? Two here, then Simon.
Gareth, I know we touched on this last time, but do you think Jude's going to get the protection from referees that he needs? Because he seems to spend quite a lot of time on the pitch quite upset about decisions going against him.
Yeah, I'd have to watch the game back to see the challenges tonight clearly. I mean, definitely on Saturday, a competitive game would have been refereed differently. So I'm not quite as clear on that in my head today. But yeah, look, he's a good player. We've got players that want to get on the ball in tight areas of the pitch, and there's going to be contact. If you're a top player, you're going to have to live with that. And I do think in tournament situations, qualifying situations, games are definitely refereed much more tightly.
Gareth, just two, if I may. One, what did you make of the way that Cobby did in a midfield three with Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham first?
Well, his attributes are there for everybody to see, that ability to receive under pressure and ride challenges, to manipulate the ball in tight areas. We were a little bit more open. There's no doubt about that. You know, we wanted to press aggressively, and there were times where we turned the ball over on on the edge of their penalty box, and we actually had chances that we should have taken. The flip side of that was we had a little bit of a problem with Mangala pulling wide and Tielemans in the area, that meant that if, you know, when our centre backs went in there, we were leaving Lukaku 1 against 1, and you know, we struggled with that a little bit. So there were things to think about within that. He gives us a different profile of midfield player to anything else we've got, and we're really pleased with what he's done. You know, he's adapted and adjusted brilliantly. You can't believe his age, really, that he's just taken it all in his stride as he has.
And it's probably going to be the last time we see you until the provisional squad announcement. What's that going to look like?
No offence, but I hope that is the case.
We'll see. How many players are you likely to be calling up for that? I mean, how's that going to look? And this is the first time you've had to whittle it down to 23 players for a few tournaments. How many extra headaches does that provide, given all the other issues you're dealing with?
Yeah, it's going to be complicated because, firstly, the injury situations that we have, you know, some will be back playing at the weekend, some will be back playing in a couple of weeks, some will be really close to the end of the season. Then we're going to have the European finals, the FA Cup final, and the 2 friendlies that we've got ourselves. So it's inevitable we're going to be naming a longer squad, which is what we did before the Euros here, even though we were dealing with 26 then. We really don't know, because there are so many questions on the injuries at the moment. But we've gained valuable information about so many players this week, and I have to say, you know, Saturday's performance I was very pleased with, bar the transitions and the final third play. Today I thought our final third play was very good. It was just the finish that wasn't always there. But in both games, the transitions have been a bit of a problem, and defensively we haven't been as solid in around our penalty area as we would like to be. But we've been brave with our press, and you know, it's at times you reap the rewards for that, and at times you live on the edge a little bit with it.
Okay, we've got 3 questions queued up. Start with James here.
Hi Gareth, just on Cobby again. There's going to be a lot of clamour for him to go now, given how he played tonight. What's the message you sort of send him away with, and are you confident that he can sort of shut out that noise and just keep doing what he's doing?
Yeah, well, I think firstly he seems very mature, very calm. He knows he's making his way. We're absolutely delighted with what he's done, first and foremost. So yeah, and then there's a lot of the season still to be played with his club. So it's pointless me. I had a plan on Saturday night for Tuesday that got blown apart in 12 hours. So to have a plan for something in 2.5 months' time at the moment is faintly ridiculous. We know some of the core parts of that. We know who's been able to play at that level, who our very best players are, and the rest we've got a lot clearer picture of what people are capable of from the 2 games that we've played, and we're just going to see how people are when they come back into form, whether they can do that fitness-wise with their clubs.
Gareth, you mentioned it was a very open game and your attacking resources are very impressive, but defensive errors are still creeping in. Do you feel you have the defensive depth to match what we can do up front?
Well, look, we've had a consistent defence because of the qualities that they have, and that's always been apparent to us. We needed to test the other guys against high-level opponents, and we've been able to do that in the 2 games. So that allows us to go away, it allows them to think about how they've played, to win a tournament, you've got to defend really well as a team, not just the back 4, but the whole team. So we definitely gave up more chances than we have, or better quality chances than we have done for a while. But we have also played two top-level teams, and that's the reality of those games as well.
Okay, last question.
As you said, I thought Bowen played really well tonight, but as a left-footed player out on the right-hand side, that's a space normally occupied by Bukayo Saka. Is it an outright competition between them two for that place in the summer, and how do you manage to inform players go in for the same position?
Well, we'd take 2, so there are other wide players, of course, but what we saw from Phil tonight, what we saw from Jared, what I've seen from Anthony Gordon in the 2 games, what we know that Bukayo brings, that's at the forefront of my mind in terms of Bowen and Gordon over the last 2 games. They've been the 2 that we knew the least about, if you like, and I think they've come through really strongly. Both their work, their threat on the goal, their speed, the fact they want to run in behind. I think both have produced quality performances, and both have worked unbelievably hard for the team. And in the big matches, you have to have all those aspects.
Okay, we'll end it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you, mate.